Hey everyone, it's Melissa with the M Word. If you're new here, I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kiddos. I have a 8-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And my 3-year-old again is here because he's not been wanting to go with dad lately to ballet. So he will probably get pretty loud and do his thing, but he's just over here from me. You can't really see him. This is a collaboration with Ashley from Gathered and Grounded, and we are coming together. There's going to be a whole playlist. I'll leave that below in the description box below of how to homeschool with multiple children and multiple grade levels. So I, like I said, have 3 kids. I have an 8-year-old who's in 2nd grade. I have a 3-year-old who's in preschool, and I have a 1-year-old that I assign as tot school. But honestly, we have a tot curriculum from Timberdoodle that I've used with 2 of my 3 kids, and it's games and books and just fun things for them to do. The biggest takeaway I can give you with multiple children and grade levels is to give each child something to do during school, whether that's special toys or whatever. That never did work for us, but what works for us is having special school items for our children. So that is my key. That's why we have a Timberdoodle Tiny Tot curriculum. That's why we have a preschool kit for my son. It's not that I'm worried about finishing either of them. I don't use the scheduler from either of them. I bought both of those curriculums in 2020, I believe. So I think so. It was before Emma was even born. So by now they've been kind of used up. I replaced some things here and there. I ordered extra things when they kind of changed the kit up a little bit here and there, but that's how we've been using them. And that is my key to how to homeschool with multiple kids and multiple grade levels, is to give them something to do. When Callie and I do school at the table, my son and my little 1-year-old are usually at the table as well. I print off 3 of everything that I do. So when we did our Christmas Around the World from Barefoot Within the Trees, my kids all had a copy. They all had a flag. They all had an ornament. They all had a piece. Now, my 3-year-old and 1-year-old were not necessarily listening or knowing what was going on. My 3-year-old, for the most part, poked holes in every single sheet of paper I handed him. And my 1-year-old basically just colored on them all. Like, just scribbled. Front and back, didn't matter. She didn't care. All of it. And my son is really into, there's some cutting pages that came from Timberdoodle. I was looking to see if I had one, but he's used them already. They are meant to like help with cutting skills by going through like cutting a certain spot and laying it together. But honestly, he just took the scissors and turned it into confetti. Just straight up confetti, which is fine. It works. It was no big deal. He was still learning his cutting skills, just not in the way that was intended. I also give them, when she does her handwriting, I give them each a handwriting sheet. They don't necessarily do their handwriting, but they enjoy it and they have fun, and that's what matters. And it keeps them from getting so upset and so left out that they're disrupting school. So my 1-year-old almost always sits directly on the table in the middle. If you follow me on Instagram, it's just the M Word by Melissa. She sits on the table. You see her all the time, hanging out in my stories, sitting on the table. And my 8-year-old usually sits the closest to me, so we can actually make sure she's doing her stuff. We do her language arts, her math. We do science as a group. We do history as a group. We do any of our unit studies as a group. And she does her tablet stuff. So her Explode the Code on my iPad. She does Night Zookeeper and teaching textbooks on her tablet. And she was doing Teach Your Monster to Read, but she has finished that. Those things she does while I'm making lunch, changing diapers, or putting Emma down for a nap. Although Emma's basically out of naps at this point, so that doesn't always work for me. I know everybody else's kid I swear everybody else's kid naps until like 2.5. My kids have all stopped at like 1. Emma's like almost 2, and she will not nap. She's tired, but she will not nap. For the most part right now, multiple grade levels aren't too big of a deal with me, but since I already incorporate my 3 kids, I don't think next year when we're doing a 4K unit and a 3rd grade unit, it'll be too difficult, or curriculum kit, it'll be too difficult. My guess is it'll just mean that Riker will sit right next to me. So Riker, Callie currently sits right here, and I sit just over here every day. My guess is Riker will sit here and Callie will sit here instead of the other way around. That way I can have more one-on-one time with Riker, and Callie can more independently do her work because she's already starting to do almost everything without me. I found that Timberdoodle is amazing trying at making it so the kids can slowly learn to be on their own and not need to be me to be there 24/7. I don't even help her with her math for the most part. I grade it. I grade her math and that's it. We do math UC. She watches the video, she does her math, she gives it to me and I grade it. But that is how we do it. I involve my children. I don't try to keep them entertained doing something else because it doesn't work. Not for our family at least. The easiest way to keep them entertained doing something else is to involve them with school and at the table with us. I don't expect them to sit still. I don't expect them to stay at the table, but they aren't allowed to like scribble all over Callie's work or take her work or do anything like that. They are to either do school with us, no matter how disruptive that may seem, as long as it's not affecting Callie's work, or they can go play. It's their choice. And it seems to work fairly well. I used to expect them to sit at the table and actually do their thing I asked them to do. That doesn't work. I previously, even before that, tried to get them to just go do something else, just play something else until we were done with school, and that didn't work either. They wanted to be involved. They wanted to be part of everything. So once I kind of let go a little bit and let them be a little bit more disruptive, let them not quite do it right, let them do whatever they wanted to do with it, it turned out a lot better. Even if I, like giving him his cutting thing, I used to try to get him to actually cut it correctly. Just letting him cut it into 100 little pieces of confetti was still teaching him what the concept of the book was, which was to learn his cutting skills. Would you like an applesauce? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay, here you go. Make sure you shut the cupboard, okay? Doing that really helped a lot. I've noticed my littlest one, she knows how to count to 3 at the very least, because if I ever say 1, she says 2, 3. She's also starting to notice, so everything's an A to her. I was teaching Riker some letters the other day, and now everything is an A to Emma, so all the things are A's. She has really been enjoying our dinosaur unit. She like basically growls and roars and gets the toy dinosaurs out all the time. And my son he knows all his shapes, he knows all his colors, he knows almost all of his numbers, 1 through 10. He can't always count them in order, but he does, like if you sit with him actually counting out items, he can do it. If he's just randomly counting on his own, he usually says like 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 7, you know, he'll just start saying things. And he can't sing his alphabet, but he does know a lot of his letters. Like if you point to a letter, he knows which one it is. So he may not know the song, but he does know his letters. So I don't know. A lot of kids in public school, like when I was in daycare, a lot of kids knew the song, but they didn't actually know their letters. If you pointed to a letter, they didn't know it. So when I was teaching him his letters and have been teaching his letters, we've been using the letters. We haven't necessarily been singing the song. So I do need to teach him the song, I noticed. But he does know his letters, a lot of them at least. But he can also point to a lot of different dinosaurs and tell you which one they are. And he did a great job with our Around the World unit. Even though he was poking holes in every sheet of paper I gave him, he knew about our elf. He knew which country we were learning about. Like, he couldn't point to which country it was in the map, but when he was talking about it, he would be like talking about Germany and this, that, and the other thing. Like, he understands it. He's absorbing the information. Just because they don't seem like they're learning, and just because it doesn't seem like they're doing anything, like I have not actively taught my littlest one anything. I have not purposely taught her colors or her numbers or counting, or I've not purposely taught her anything. She's learning that on her own, just being part of the family. My son is learning things I wasn't expecting him to learn either. Dinosaur names, which country that our gnomon was in, like just things that I didn't expect him to learn. But that's, like I said, that's how I homeschool with multiple children. I just involve them as much as possible. I hope that helps you guys. If you have any suggestions for me and how you guys homeschool with multiple children, please leave them in the comments below. I really appreciate your guys' suggestions and ideas. And if you haven't already, if you could like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. It really helps me out, and it costs you guys nothing, and it helps me out so much. And I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much.